I am back home. I'm very excited to be back home. I was gone for a month, so these vlogs will come more often. Today, we are going to look at Matias De Stefano's vlog, 2 different vlogs, and we're going to compare it to the Law of One Tarot. What we're going to be talking about is the pineal gland. So let's start with the pineal gland. And mainly, we're going to go through the whole system. So all the chakras, I'm going to relate them as Matias De Stefano does to the endocrine system, and then we're going to compare them to the Law of One Tarot. So the pineal gland. The pineal is called that because of its shape, similar to the seed of a pine cone. The pine has always, I've got to float this on top. I always forget to do that. Oh, can I? Yeah, there we go. Okay, the pine was always considered a sacred tree because its shape points in a spiral towards the heavens, considering it a tree of ascension to the divine. Its seeds arrange in the same way in a beautiful and perfect double golden spiral, shown the sacredness of this species, in addition to being a source of energy for animals and humans during the winter, both as food in the pine nuts as well as fire in the structure that contains them. In many cultures, you can see the pine cone shaped decorations in sacred temples representing this connection. The pineal is located in the center of the brain, the cerebrum, placed in a hole above the epithalamus, a part of the diencephalon made up of the thalamus and hypothalamus. So I actually did bring up a picture. So right there, that is your pineal gland. Okay, so there's the hypothalamus. Right there. And then here is the thalamus right here. So the pineal, basically how I remember it, is right in the center of your 2 eyes. It's your third eye. So it's in the middle of these 2 physical eyes is your third eye. Okay, so now I'm going to switch over to another vlog where he talks about the actual pineal gland. So this whole vlog is called The Vision. There he is. He's so cute. His eyes, of course, that's what it is. It's about the pineal gland. So he talks about the pineal gland in great detail. So I wanted to give you this interpretation. Maybe I'll read a little bit more. The diencephalon is located exactly in the center of the head and has the function of processing all sensitive and emotional information, memory, and movements in relation to them. The pineal is no larger than a grain of rice and regulates the sleep and wake cycle through the secretion of the hormone melatonin, secreted when darkness increases, since the presence of light calms its production, thus constituting the gland that regulates our 24-hour cycle. And it not only regulates sleep, but wakes up or turns off every biological function, especially regulating heart rate and reproduction. Due to the fact that it is a photosensitive gland, it is capable of capturing more than 700 colors and frequencies of light. That's crazy. Which makes it the receptor gland for all information coming from the light planes. Now, this is really important because what this reminds me of is the Lover's card. So transformation is the 6th dimension. And the Lover's card, if you look up here, this being is it looks like it's within the rays of the sun, and he's got a bow and arrow, right? So he's shooting for something. He's shooting at something. And that just really reminds me of this here, where he says that due to the fact that it's a photosensitive gland, it's capable of capturing more than 700 colors and frequencies of light, which make it the receptor gland for all information coming from the light planes. So this is possibly what this drawing could be. It's the mind complex of transformation, sixth dimension. And this, we know the sun is light, obviously, and it holds information. And this being is in the sun shooting towards something, right? It looks like it's shooting towards this person's pineal gland. Now that I've never seen it like this, but now that I'm talking about it, it looks as though this being is shooting towards this person's pineal gland. It really does. I have another Law of One copy here, so it just gives me a greater look. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Let me know what you think. Thus it allows direction. Thus it allows direct connection with the universe, with divinity and spirit. So maybe that's a spirit that's shooting the ray, shooting information from the sun's rays, because there's all the sun's rays. Sun is light, light is information, into the pineal gland, the third eye. Maybe that's what's happening. Thus, it allows direct connection with the universe, with divinity and spirit. The gland vibrates constantly and regulates the resonant state of a being. By receiving light data, it is in turn a door to the infinite thoughts of the cosmos. And because of this, it is the gland on whose activation our way of seeing It is the gland on whose activation our way of seeing and perceiving the world depends. Okay. It functions as an inner light capable of being an inner eye that not only receives light but emits it. It's a crystal, right? It's got crystals in it. And therefore, a completely overexcited pineal gland can be seen as enlightenment, being what we consider the third eye. It is the gland on whose activation our way of seeing and perceiving the world depends. That's huge, because this world is all about how we perceive it. It functions as an inner light capable of being an inner eye. Oh, now it's just repeating itself. That not only receives light, but emits it, and therefore a completely overexcited pineal gland. Like the halo of the saints, of the enlightened masters, yes, conflicts in this gland tell us about poor management of our ability to see beyond, to understand the world, to open ourselves to other points of view, to have a mind closed to a single way of seeing things, beliefs, traditions. Furthermore, it is related to the fear of the perception of other planes, traumas in relation to things that we have seen and that we deny. Let's read that again. Furthermore, it is related to the fear of the perception of other planes, traumas in relation to things that we have seen and we deny. So this to me is when we bury them in the subconscious mind. The pineal works very closely with the subconscious mind. And if the pineal gland, which I believe it is, if the pineal gland is the sixth dimension, which is transformation, if it is the sixth dimension transformation can only occur once we have gone through the depths, the grossness and the shadows. I'm not going to say grossness. Everything is beautiful. Of the subconscious mind and what we've come here with. The subconscious mind, the liquid in your body, holds all information. You're like the matrix of the first life you lived as an animal. So those nights where you were afraid that you might be eaten as an animal, maybe you were an insect, I don't know. But those fears still reside within the water of your body, and they are called remembrance through your cells. This remembrance becomes a vibration. When this vibration becomes, this vibration will become reality. through resonance. Where is the resonance happening? The resonance is happening in the sixth density. The sixth density, I believe, is sacred geometry. So whatever it is that you fear, if you allow the vibration of fear to stay within you, let's say longer than 6 seconds, I think Abraham Hicks says if you want to change a thought, you have to think it for more than 6 seconds. So if it's longer than 6 seconds that the vibration of fear is within you for whatever reason, fear just creeps up on you in 1 second. You might be having a great day and all of a sudden fear creeps up. What is that? That is past lives, possibly as an animal, afraid to get eaten at night by another animal. That is like how our body remembers. Those memories don't go away until they are transformed. And if they're not transformed, what happens is the subconscious mind will pick up that memory will come to you within a second. If it's not released or transformed with your own perception, ability to change perception, to expand consciousness, if it's not transformed and you stick in the pattern, that your regular pattern of fear, which is your experience, which is fourth density, the heart, if that heart continues to be unconscious of the feeling, instead of becoming conscious, first you have to become, your personal conscious becomes the observer and aware, then your consciousness, your expansive consciousness becomes aware. Oh, this is fear. This isn't mine right now. What should I do with it? And you have tools to lessen the energy of fear and to increase your vibration, or to be okay with fear and just give it a gentle nudge and say, this is what I've been doing lately. Just saying, it's okay. We're safe. I understand that at one time you were here to protect me. Fear, thank you, but it's okay. When you do that, the resonance for any of the subconscious mind, the potentiator in your life, is coming from the sixth density. If sixth density is sacred geometry, as I feel it is, then whatever your sixth density resonates with, that is coming from the potentiator or the catalyst or the experience, it's going to start forming sacred geometry. Remember, sacred geometry it multiplies all the time. It's constantly multiplying itself, but it starts with one thing. And if that one thing you started is the feeling of fear, it's multiplying it and it's going to give it back to you in your reality. It may take some time, but you will get it back. I don't know why I went on that tangent. Okay, so conflicts. Yes, furthermore, it is related to the fear of the perception of other planes, traumas in relation to things that we have seen and that we deny. To correct the pineal prism, it is necessary to sleep enough, rest, take walks where you can see far away to the horizon at long distances, as well as, of course, meditation and eye exercises. Eye exercises are so good. I do this eye trek yoga where you're staring at, it's at my yoga studio, but you're staring at a flame. That's really good for you too. You could try that. It just, what it does, in my opinion, I don't know what it really does, but I feel like what it does is it gets you your eyes. So one of your eyes are trained. These two eyes, not the third eye, these two eyes are trained to look at the light and the shadows. That's why we have two eyes. So what I feel when you're doing like the flickering light meditations, or in my studio, they call it eye trek yoga. What you're doing is you are training your eye to look at the different colors of the fire and become in resonance with the colors. So you see the blue, you see the white, you see the orange, you see darkness around the flame. What you're doing is you're training your eyes that you are very aware and conscious of the light. These two eyes are not unconsciously taking in the light, but you are consciously taking in that light of that flame and the darkness. One eye is light, one eye is shadows. All right, now let's go to this beautiful vlog here. Let's move me out of the way. All right, so in this vlog, that's not the one, it's this one. Okay, so in this vlog, it's the vision, so the pineal gland. I'm actually going to start here because it's more pertinent to our vlog today. So let's start. It says, thus, imagine that you are a single being that seeks to see everything, but a single eye would prevent you from truly seeing all perspectives. Then that single eye of consciousness first divided into two, one looking towards the light and the other looking towards the shadows. This is how balance was created. This balance made it possible to focus a neutral path in the center, allowing beings to put together an accurate image from the image of polarities. I don't know why, I really don't know why, but when he says this, so he says this balance made it possible to focus a neutral path in the center, allowing beings to put together an accurate image from the image of polarities. It for some reason reminds me, I think, of these balancing scales. I've also come to think that maybe these balancing scales here in the body complex of the matrix are the alpha and omega. And the alpha is the spirit complex, the omega is the soul. So if these are alpha and omega, where's the triad, right? Because to come to balance, we need a triad. We need a triangle. I don't know why I said that. Anyways, okay. So, and these in turn continue to multiply. Let's read that again. This is how balance is created. Okay, let's read that, all of it again. Then that single eye of consciousness first divided into two. So your single eye of consciousness is the third eye. It divided into two, one looking towards the light, the other one looking towards the shadows. This is how balance was created. This balance made it possible to focus a neutral path in the center, allowing beings to put together an accurate image from the image of polarities. And these in turn continue to multiply billions of times, each leaf of the tree being one more eye. In this way, the great eye could see more and more. So the point of we have two eyes, but when you see the leaves on a tree, those are all eyes, and every eye of that leaf is going to give a different perspective to the roots, to the trunk. The paradox is that the greater the number of perspectives, the better the understanding of truth. And the me says, it seems counterproductive because there are more conflicts between the visions. How does the great eye see what is real? The I am says, because the eyes that look outward expand their vision, but do not integrate it. To integrate it, the eyes must close and contemplate the reflection inside. So the eyes that look out, one finds light, one finds shadow. Through photosynthesis, is it photosynthesis? What's that called? Anyways, you get what I mean, right? Through those nerves and synapses behind our eyeball. So what we see externally is expanding our vision, so it's not perceiving anything. What happens is through the light waves and our nerves in behind our eyeball, what our brain does through what we see is it takes those images, it takes the photosynthesis, and it turns it into an image, you see? So if our eyes, what we see is creating the image in our brain, that is what you're going to manifest if that's just where you leave it. This is why dreaming is so important. Dreaming, what it does is it countercepts what only the dark and the light that's going through your eyes is being perceived by the brain and imaging, because the brain is going to start imaging right away. That's what it does. And the imaging that the brain is going to do, it's going to take whatever you see and it's going to put it into a loophole of pattern. That loophole of pattern, it's connected to the heart. It becomes your experience. See this whole line here, the experience of the mind, the emperor, the body, the temptress, and the spirit is the moon. This here, the whole purpose of the moon card is that this is all time. And when that brain puts it into a pattern of time, what it's doing is it's taking whatever is in your water, in your subconscious mind here, and in your organs, the unconscious mind, whatever that brain is comfortable with, it's going to deposit it into that comfort level, because your organs and your water, your cells, have memory, and they are going to help the brain come up with patterns. That is why transformation is so important, because it breaks patterns, as does the significator, because your personal consciousness is the experience of the mind, body, and the spirit. But your overall, the observer of the observer, the one that will give you your I am, where your guides reside, is the significator. What was I talking about? Why was I saying that? Is the significator. And that is why if we can take control of the subconscious mind and begin dreaming here, close your eyes and start to dream, the water in your cells, they don't know any different. Your subconscious mind is going to start thinking, oh, okay, this is what we're going through right now, because the brain is making those images. It doesn't know if your eyes are open or closed. All it knows is that these images make you feel good, because this here is vibration. Water is vibration. Okay, so because the eyes that look outward explain their vision but do not integrate it. To integrate it, the eyes must close and contemplate the reflection inside. There we go. The pineal gland, the third eye, the trinity of vision. There you have it. The two eyes that represent duality focus on light and darkness, logic and illogic, free art and the exact sciences, the feminine and the masculine. They seek, therefore, the constant creation of new perspectives. Hold on, look at this here. The pineal gland, the third eye, the trinity of vision. What? Wait, what? Look at the Lover's card. Do you remember in vlogs before I've told you this is a trinity, this is a triangle, and he's making a triangle here? What if this is the fucking third eye? Hold up. What if this is the left, this is the shadow, this is the light, and this is the middle, the pineal? This is transformation of the mind complex. I've never seen it this way, but this is making a lot of sense to me. Hold on. So the pineal gland, the third eye, the trinity of vision. Triangle. He's standing. Oh my God, his feet are also like this. And the triangle is coming. There's a triangle there. I've never seen that one. That is, the energy of it is coming up right in between his heels, up the middle to the pineal. What if this is the third eye, the physical light, physical shadow? What if this is the three eyes, the trinity? Mind complex transformation. The two eyes that represent duality focus on light and dark. So duality, her and her, they both look like hers. They both, have feminine outfits on. So that's funny. Okay, you know what? Another thing here. So if this is duality, we've got feminine, so shadow and shadow, but it's not. It's light. One eye is light, one eye is shadow. But the feminine yin is a negative charge. But look here too, the subconscious and the unconscious is feminine and feminine. But if we take this experience, put it in the middle, we take this matrix, put it in the middle, these two are dudes. These are positive charges. And you put them in the middle. And if you do put them in the middle, is that when you break out of this box of patterns of how our mind thinks? The pattern, the experience is these patterns in time. In time, these patterns will all become your experience until you observe them through here, the significator, the higher self. Not only personal observation, your personal consciousness helps, of course, you become aware, but it's true observation here with the significator, where your guides are, your true I am. They know it all. This is where the choice card comes in. And then you make the choice to break these patterns of time that have developed within this box of the matrix. The two eyes that represent duality focus on light and darkness, logic and illogic, free art and the exact sciences, the feminine and the masculine. They seek, therefore, the constant creation of new perspectives. But behind both, in the center, the triune image of the essence is formed. First of all, you must understand what has been said. Everything that your two eyes see is a perception of the external and that which is absorbed by the photosensitive cells. Photosensitive cells, just like a plant. But they synthesize the sun. We have photosensitive cells and transmitted by the ocular nerves to the brain. They are simple data like algebra, like the Morse code or the bits or LEDs on the screen you are looking at. The image sent is processed by the brain in a mirrored manner in all its senses. So in a mirrored manner, so kind of like the brain. Kind of like when you look in a mirror, everything's flipped. So let's read that again. First of all, you must understand what has been said. Everything that your two eyes, light and dark, see is a perception of the external and that which is absorbed by the photosensitive cells and transmitted by the ocular nerves to the brain. Okay. They are simple data. Okay, that's just simple data science. Okay. The image sent is processed by the brain in a mirrored fashion manner in all its, so it's flipped. Okay. The image is assembled inside as an opposite, almost like the negative of a photo. Okay, yeah, we just said that. So it gets flipped like when you're looking in a mirror. And this negative is assimilated by the neurons based on the previous data, quickly comparing this new information with everything previously processed. This generates a selective vision in which the great percentage of what is received is discarded, as it is considered unnecessary information, since it is understood that it already exists in the brain data library. So this is what we were just saying. So once light comes in through your eyes, dark, they see shadow and light, right? Both. But it's an external observation. Once it comes in, it's absorbed by the photosensitive cells, transmitted to the ocular nerves and to the brain. This is very simple data. The brain takes what you see, turns it into an image, but a flip image. This flipped image then is taken by the neurons, and what the neurons do is they start communicating with the cells and the organs in your body, and this communication brings information of patterns, time. So this takes us back right here, of patterns, this information. When the neurons start communicating and the cells start communicating and the organs start communicating with the brains, automatically the brain is going to take that image and deposit it into a data bank, which is already known through your patterns in your time perceptions, time, space. Okay, I'm not talking about space, time right now. I'm talking about time, space. And it's going to quickly take that image and put it like it already knows it. And what does that mean? That means that the emotion that you have had the most as a pattern in time for the vision that you see. For example, I see the water and it just gives me like, I know it's a subconscious mind. I feel so much love for it. And I just feel like such peace that I'm not alone, that I am water. I'm part of that water outside. We are one. That now, it took me a while to get here. Before, all I knew was I loved water. I didn't know it was the subconscious mind. I didn't know what I thought of it. All I knew was that water gave me peace. Now, with all this transformation and all this wisdom that I have been expanding my consciousness, which has created the wisdom. Now my data library, when I see water, right away gives me this feeling of union with the subconscious mind. You see what I mean? But that pattern that I developed took time. So let me say that again. Now that's my experience. So my experience to the catalyst, which is water, and I give it the name of the subconscious mind. Before that, even longer before that, and this fear sometimes comes to me, my mind complex and the patterns that I had created in this box actually made me, this happened to me when I was older. After my son was born, I started becoming extremely afraid of water. I began to think of like really negative things that could happen if I was driving and my son was in the car. What if my car fell into the water? How would I get him out? It was so bad, these thoughts. Like I started practicing how I would get him out of his car seat. And my husband was alive then, and he was like, why are you doing that to yourself? Are you okay? And he actually went out and bought me from like Canadian Tire or Home Depot, one of those glass breakers, and he put it right like in the door pocket of the car just to relieve my anxiety. So can you imagine like the patterns that I formed over all those years that I thought and was afraid of water to now turn it into absolute love and it's part of me and union? I had to break those patterns that were created over time. So space here, the catalyst, space is the measurement of something, like of how far it is from you. What is the distance? What is the space? And whenever I would go by, I live in Canada, and sometimes when you go through really like rural farming areas, we've got the farming areas, then we've got ditches in between, and in the fall season, those ditches get filled up with water. And I remember putting my headlights on and almost driving in the middle of the road. I was just so afraid that the car was going to fall in. So that space, you see how the water was such a huge catalyst of fear for me? But that space, when I was close to water, I needed more space from the water. And with time, that fear just started integrating and anchoring in me. But now I still have it. It still comes up. I felt it. I'm not going to lie, for sure. But then I just talk to the fear that it's okay. If we've drowned in a past life, we are here now. This water is a subconscious mind. So it took me now this experience of contemplating and talking to my own thoughts and emotions to unravel and get out of this box of fear of water and to really see the sacredness in water. You know how I talk to my water now? I say this prayer before I drink my water. And this is crazy, because this type of prayer requires you to be in the fifth density or dimension, your significant self, your guide self. And this is what helped me transform. And I got this from Matias De Stefano. I'll read it to you. I think it's wonderful. I am here to return to me. From the roots of the earth, I trust, and I will not set any limits. I will allow you to enter every last one of my cells. Show me everything. This is what I say now before I drink my water. Show me everything. And when I say show me, I'm talking to the fifth density. Show me everything so that I can use that information and start using sacred geometry and consciously creating, because this is where you manifest from. Start consciously creating in the third. The third needs the sixth, and that is your way to God, which is the ninth. I don't know how long I've been. I'll just read this and then we'll end the blog. Okay, so the image sent is processed by the brain in a mirrored manner in all its senses. The image is assembled inside as an opposite, almost like the negative of a photo. And this negative is assimilated by the neurons based on the previous data, quickly comparing this information with everything previously processed. This generates a selective vision in which the largest percentage of what is received is discarded. The largest percentage of what is so this is, the iceberg thing where your consciousness is like 8% or something. That reminds me of the iceberg example. Everything, your subconscious is like over 90%. So this generates a selective vision in which the largest percentage of what is received is discarded. So the truth is never seen because your brain starts forming images based on time, space, patterns of time. This generates a selective vision in which the largest percentage of what is received is discarded, and it is considered unnecessary information since it is understood that it already exists in the brain data library. That's kind of like, the first time a child has something sweet. Like, I remember the first time I gave my son organic apricot. Oh my God, because before that I only gave him vegetables, right? Pureed vegetables. And the first time he had organic apricot, he was just, oh my God, like the senses, the taste buds, everything. Like, oh my God, this is sugar? Holy cow, what the heck? And over time, the brain started just thinking, not giving that apricot such delight anymore. It started it started putting it in its brain data library, and that apricot just didn't have the same glitz and glamour to the way it tasted. So then I did a puree of sour cherries. So now that sourness was exciting for a little while, but then once the brain and the cells, the neurons, everything in your body got used to it, he started doing the same thing. This really reminds me of that, because when we're living in this 3D, the one thing we do need to do is we do need to understand that every single moment is precious. Like last night I was looking at the sunset and just praying and just thinking, this 3-day life is amazing. How lucky am I to manifest? How lucky are we to have our senses? How lucky are we to have tools to understand our consciousness? How lucky are we to manifest with imagination? I mean, what other species can do that, right? And among these precise existing data are the emotional pulses from previously lived experiences, something we call preconception. This is a prior concept, a prior fact, or circumstance that determines all the following. In this way, our brain evaluates what it receives through its eyes, something we call prejudice. That is something that has been considered fair previously. In this way, the brain puts together its interpretation of what it sees. So nothing you observe will ever really be the truth. Thus, the third vision, the internal one, is that of the one concept, that of the idea. Oh, it's not truth, it's the idea. Hold on. The third vision, the internal one, is that of the concept. It's that of the concept, that of the idea, but not the truth. Because your brain, the mind complex, is going to always interpret truth based on previous lifetimes, based on this lifetime and cellular memory of what it's deemed to be fair. Okay. The me says that third concept then, handled by the pineal, is not, as many believe, the internal truth, but rather it is precisely the idea we have of the exterior. It is very poetic to describe the internal look as the real one, but the truth is that the pineal is in charge of regulating the idea, not the truth. For this reason, unity is only possible from the trinity, from 3 points of view. It is for this reason that the great eye is always placed in the middle of the triangle of the pyramid. Oh, so that's, here it's the symbol of God, but also of the basic concept of the philosophies called Freeman. Let's leave that topic for another time. Okay, so here we have it. So your third eye isn't the generator of truth. Oh my goodness. It's not the generator of truth. It is idea, which makes sense. That's why your pineal gland is transformation, because it gives you different perspective than the light and the dark. It gives you different ideas. The ideas are coming from here because they're coming from the divine. The ideas are more pure, but the truth isn't. The ideas are pure, obviously. Yes, okay. But it's an idea and it can't be processed as truth because the brain will still interject and the brain will create images based on cellular memory. And that is it. And we will carry this on in our next vlog. Interesting, hey? Very interesting. Love you guys so much, and I will get back at it tomorrow. Bye.